Email marketing made easy. How to freely communicate with your customers and make thousands of people feel like you're talking directly to them, all while protecting yourself from big tech shutting you down. You see, email is a fabulous way to stay in communication with your particular list of people, regardless of what the big tech companies do, how they change their platforms and how they change the rules and guidelines. Now, why email marketing to begin with? Well, because it makes you money. Now you might be saying, but I just want to educate people. Of course you want to educate people, because educating people makes you money. But wait. I just want people to know about my charity or something like that, right? Well, exactly, because telling people about your charity makes money for your charity and you. You see, the bottom line is you can call it jelly beans, you can call it marbles, you can call it whatever you want. The bottom line is you are giving something in exchange for something. And that, my friend, is commerce. And that's why we're doing this thing. And email is a major player in your follow-up system. So when it comes to either letting people know about special events that you or your business is running, or special opportunities to buy something, purchases, once you get people inside your world, maybe you run organic or unpaid social media advertising, or maybe you're paying for your social media advertising. The goal there is to get somebody's attention and pull it into your system, to get their name, get their email, get maybe their phone number, so you can send text messages or so that you can call them. You might even get their physical address so that you can send them things. Regardless of how they get there, your goal is to use email as one of your primary pieces of your follow-up system, because again, that's what keeps people engaged with you and that's what makes you money. And here is some proof. Let's talk about email and money and the ROI that you can get from email. Later on, you should have access to these slides and you can read this entire article yourself. But based on different industries, litmus.com here has a recent research showing that email marketing can have up to a 45-to-1 return on your investment. So for every dollar you spend in your email marketing, you can get up to $45 back or more. These are just averages, right? Maybe you're down here in the 32-to-1. Maybe you're not getting any money back from your email marketing yet, and that's something hopefully we can help you with here tonight. Here's some proof that email marketing can make you money. We have a client that started letting us control their emails recently, and in November of 2021, they made $454,000 off their email line. Well, in November of 2022, they increased by 107.65%, and with our help in November 22, they made $944,000 plus off their email line. In November of 2021, they had 17 emails that went out. In 2022, they had 39 emails went out. We started helping them with their email line September, October of 2022. So their December numbers was December 2021, 153,000. December 22, 661,000, or $669.50 for an increase from December 21 into December 22 of 331.34% increase. Amazing stuff. Here is a look at some of those particular emails. In their system, we have two emails that went, or one email went out twice, November 5th, December 3rd. They had 57,000 people that the email was sent to, 44% open rate, which is great, a 3% click-through rate, also really well. 47 orders for a total of $4,700 made off of those two emails. Here's another one, November 25th and December 30th. Again, 60,000 people these two emails went out to. 43% opens rate, 6% clicks rate, double the click-through rate on this one than the last one. 94 orders placed for a total of $13,000, 140. And the third example, November 26th, December 31st, 60,000 people, 38% open rate, 3.8% click for a total of another $10,000 made. So those 6 emails made this client $28,000 or approximately $4,600 average per email. So let's really quick talk about a couple of basic terms when you get into your email marketing. You have ESPs, or email service provider, and you have email clients. So your ESP is the system that you are programming and sending your emails from. Here's a couple of examples. There's one called Sendinblue, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, and Keep. Now, Keep is the one that we use here at Attention Grabbing Media, and I will let you know later on in this presentation, and there should be a link under the video that if you want to try using Keep for yourself, you can do so. An email client is where the emails actually go, okay? So Gmail is an email client. iCloud Mail is an email client. Yahoo Mail is an email client. MSNBC, AOL, all these email clients. Now, let's talk about what to send, to who, and when. I've got 5 essential campaigns that all businesses should be using. Number 1 is the product or service delivery or confirmation email. Number 2, we're talking abandoned cart emails. Number 3 is your welcome or indoctrination emails. 4, your regular nurture flow to keep engaged with your people. And 5 could be special promotions. So this is an example of one of the emails that we've used for the product and service delivery, okay? So what's happening here is when you create a marketing funnel for any of your products or services, you have to start off in a position where somebody needs to raise their hand and say, I want that thing, whether it's free or paid. So it's called an opt-in. So once they opt in to get something from you, you want to immediately deliver the thing that they asked about, what they opted in for, or confirm that they are signed up for an event or the product was purchased. In this particular example is 2 free downloads, PDFs, and I have these written to myself. So here's as simple as it needs to be as far as your copywriting in your email. Hey, Jesus, or hey, first name, thanks for being a part of our presentation on the customer journey. I truly believe that this information can help expand your business to the highest level. As promised, you can download the 9-step social media strategy and the content creation cheat sheets here. Now, when you look at the blue text in these emails, what it is, that is the hyperlinked text. You probably already know that, but that just means that you can actually click on those blue text and it takes you or to the thing, or it helps, or it allows you to download. In this case, I also linked the pictures, so you could click on either the text or the pictures. And of course, this is an example of how it would look on your desktop. This is an example of how it would look in your mobile phone. That's actually something you can think about later after you start getting comfortable with your email marketing, but you want to make sure, because so many people use mobile phones, by far, the majority of your stuff will be seen on a mobile phone, so make sure it looks good on the mobiles. Now, once, let's say somebody opts in for something or somebody buys something for you for the first time, then you want to send them into your welcome sequence or your indoctrination sequence, right? Welcome. We have the good-looking bearded guy with his hair back. Remind you of anyone? Huh? Also the cult, join us. And some people think cult is a bad word. Cult just means that you have a charismatic leader that a lot of people are loyal to and find interesting. So they spend their time or money with those people. And you want to be that for your people. Now, our regular nurture sequence would be the next email line or email campaigns that you want to send. This is what one of ours looks like. I have it designed essentially like a daily calendar. So in our regular email lines, we do our very best to send out valuable, helpful information on a daily basis. You don't have to send it daily. We like to do it. We recommend that you do it. I would send, ideally, no less than 1 email a week to your list of people. 2 to 3 is great if you feel uncomfortable with it, but keep this in mind. If somebody has opted in to your email list, whether it's just for free information or from a purchase, they have some sort of interest in you and what you do. And therefore, feel free to give them as much value as possible related to the thing that they either first opted in for or bought, or just in general, as much value as possible related to what you do to help bring those people further and further along in their buyer's journey with you. Now, there's some great ways within the email marketing systems that you can automatically nurture your contacts while you sleep, and it's through segmentation and tagging. So what I have for you coming up next is a short video. I think it's about 13 minutes long. It gives you an example inside our very own Keep email system that shows how email sequences or email campaigns can be designed from extremely easy to slightly more complex. It also is going to show you how you can use tagging to track people's progress from the beginning of an email campaign through to the end of it, or how you can, same through tagging, track people's progress from the beginning of their buyer's journey with you to the end of their buyer's journey with you. All right, let's check out the video.
Okay, so let's take a couple of minutes and talk about segmentation, tagging, why you might want to use it, how it can help you, and most importantly, why it allows you to get work done while you're sleeping. That's, I don't know, that's what I'm thinking, but maybe you guys don't care about that, but I thought it was funny to say. So first, let me move myself a little bit out of the way. So we're using Keep. I want to explain a couple of things. First, there's different variations of campaigns or flows or sequences, and it's going to be somewhat dependent upon what email service provider that you choose. So here in Keep, we're calling them campaigns, and within the campaigns, there are sequences of messages. We'll show you a little bit more in a second. So what we're looking at here are the campaigns themselves. These are the names of different campaigns that we have. So Copywriting Wizard workshops, opt-ins. So this is something we have for internal training. And I'm going to show you, this is a very, very simple campaign. There's a way for people to opt in, or to opt in means to raise their hand and say, yes, I want access to something, or yes, I want to purchase something. And from that opt-in, it feeds straight into the sequence box. And within the sequence, now I have new actions. And we can see here's a tag, which is exactly what we're going to talk about in a second. And this is one of those delivery emails that we, depending on which section of the workshop this video ends up in, this is the deliver to people what they ask for, right? So, but that's not the important part. The important part in this particular piece here is this tag. In this case, this particular tag is called Copywriting Wizard Workshop Opt-in, and that tag allows me to segment people from the rest of the group. And we'll show you another example of that in a second. But again, so this is as simple as a campaign can be. There is one way to get in, and there's one thing that it's being delivered. Very, very easy. Now let's back out. Let's look at one. It's a little bit more complex, but not super crazy. So let's look at free Canva training with Jules. Now you may or may not have seen this. It's just another free little training piece that we have, and we can talk about that at a different time. So you can see it's a little bit more complex, and let's walk through the steps. So first, again, you see here there's 2 ways on this particular one for people to opt in. It's not important right now, but you can have 1, 2, 3. You can have multiple ways for people to opt in. So this first sequence box, we're going to add some tags to people. In this particular case, there's an email engagement hot tag, and there's the start free Canva training with Jules tag. So this is important. This is what I was talking about, that tagging will allow you to track the progress that people are making through your email campaigns or through your entire customer journey in general. So, right, so tagging has two purposes when it comes to tracking. I'll say it again. One of the purposes is to track people's progress through one specific campaign, and another purpose of the tagging is to track people's progress through your entire customer journey or through their buyer's journey with you. So and these campaigns, particularly on Keep, run from left to right uh, when you're looking at the screen, which you'll see later. So the reason I'm applying one of these tags here that says to start is because I'm want to use a filter. A filter is something that within these campaigns that allows you to segment your people even more in a more granular fashion. So if the person has the start tag in this particular instance, they'll go straight through and they come to the second sequence, which now, oops, we don't not looking to duplicate. This second sequence, we add a second tag that says in the free Canva training with Jules, right? And then 1 minute after that tag is applied, we actually remove the start the free Canva training with Jules. Okay, and these are automations. If you hear myself or other people talk about automations in your marketing, this is what we're talking about. This is what allows you to walk people by the hand through your customer journey, through their buyer's journey with you, even while you're asleep. Okay, so they opt in, they get tagged with a start now. The start allows us to filter them. And if they have the start tag, they slide through to this box, and this box applies a new tag that says they are in the particular campaign. It removes the tag that says to start the particular campaign. So I'll explain these top and bottom filter boxes in a moment. So at this point, we would slide through to this next sequence box. And if we open up this sequence box, here's the first email that delivers the thing that they asked for or that they bought. In this particular case, there's a wait step where it waits 24 hours any day of the week between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8:45 p.m. And then it delivers a second email. And this variety of different things the second email could be. And then it has another 24-hour wait step. And at that point, in this particular campaign, after that second email goes out, it waits another 24 hours. It comes to the third, actually, I guess this would be the fourth sequence box. And this is very similar to one earlier, where now we're applying some tags. In this case, we're applying the completed free Canva training with Jules. So they've completed this specific campaign. And we also added a nurture tag here called start indoctrination. And I'll explain that in a second as well. And then it waits for 1 minute. And then again, you can see removes tag. It removes the in the Canva training. So it removes the in specific campaign. And this one waits 1 minute and then actually removes the people from this particular campaign. That is mostly a preference because you just don't, once a person gets to the end over here, they won't receive anything that was previous, right? Because these particular ones run from left to right. So once they pass it, headed to the right, they're not going to go back to something on the left, even if you don't remove them from the campaign. Again, it's a personal preference. And over on this side, we have another specialty tag. And this particular one says it's from list hygiene, which we'll talk about, and it removes from all campaigns. So if for some reason there are people in the campaign that are just waiting there because they've completed it, and somewhere in the future, for whatever reason, they need to be removed from our email service provider, if this tag gets applied to their contact record, it will automatically remove them from the campaign. So tagging tracks progress. Start the campaign, you're in the campaign, you've completed the campaign. So this filter box if we come back to it, allows us to segment or filter out people. If they are already in the campaign and for some reason they decided to opt in again, this box will recognize that and will send them up into this upper sequence box. And in that position, we can remove the start tag, we can remove them from the sequence, or if you prefer, you can actually have emails and messages in here that say, hey, Bob, it looks like you're already in this campaign. So be sure to check your inbox for specific subject line. And the similar thing can happen down here with the completed. Once somebody reaches the very end of the campaign and they've completed it, their record in your system will now say that they have completed this particular campaign. And if for some reason they decide to opt in again, this system will recognize it, send them down to, in this case, the bottom sequence box, which does the same thing as the top one, removes the start tag and removes them from the sequence. And again, if you'd like to send them a message that says, hey, Bob, it looks like you've already completed this campaign. Maybe you'd be interested in, and then offer them something else. So this is how the automations start to stack on themselves. And like we showed, if we come back to this completed section and we look in here under apply tags and we said it applies a tag called start indoctrination. So what we call a welcome series or an indoctrination series is a separate campaign. And because the tag is applied automatically at that point, then it would automatically send that person into this campaign here, this indoctrination campaign. And then this one would essentially do the exact same as the last one. So this one starts with a specific tag, which was just applied in the campaign that we saw. It has the filter box to check to see if they're already in the indoctrination series or if they've already completed it. Because in this particular one, once they've gone through it once, they don't need to go through it again because they already know who you are. And then the rest of the sequence, the rest of the philosophy of the sequence is the same thing. We can open up, you can see this one has more emails in it. There's a first email that welcomes people. There's a wait 24 hours, a second email, wait 24 hours, email, wait, email, wait, email, wait. That's the basic idea of the sequence. And all you have to do is knock over that first domino, and that sets everything into motion. And then now these pieces can run automatically or manually, and that would be up to you. Now, let's take a look at the segmentation aspect. So we'll look at our contacts. In this particular case, it has all sorts of different options here, and I have some saved searches. So let's just say new contacts in the last 7 days, and then that's going to bring up a list of new contacts in the last 7 days for us. So how are we searching? In this case, in this particular system, we talked about the tagging. In fact, let me show it this way. You can see here that we currently have 11,057 contacts available. But now we can use the tags to create a segment. In this case, this is a tag of all the people who opted in for this particular series, particular email marketing made easy webinar. And from the 11,000, we say, look for anybody who has this particular tag. We hit OK, and we can see it brings us to 221 people currently. And that is the quick overview of tagging and segmentation, how it works, why you might want to do it, and some of the advantages or the automatic actions that you can have when you do it. And so I know it can be a lot. If you have any questions, that's why you're here. Feel free to stay afterward and ask me, or you can reach out to us at agmagency.com or talk to ninja.com, and we'll be happy to chat with you about your email marketing. All right, bye.
All right, so I hope you got a lot of value out of that video. And of course, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below, or you can reach out to us at talktoaninja.com, or just go to agmagency.com, go to the contact section, you can reach us there as well. Now, let's check out some more stuff. We're gonna talk about how can you keep personal while talking to thousands of people. And there's two things I want you to consider coming into this next section. Regardless of whether you're a personal business or a personal brand, or you're a traditional e-commerce store, or even a traditional brick and mortar store, there's two main ways that email marketing is done. The first one I'm going to show you is a more standardized e-commerce method, and then we'll show you the more, what I like to do, the conversational person-to-person method, and that's our preferred method. You can choose what's right for you. This is an example of a standard e-commerce business. So this is 3 sections, but in reality, it would all be one long email that you would be scrolling through. Gives you the name of the business, tells you right up top there's a special deal that you can get, a little bit of a headline, and then immediately a tag or a button that you can click for. In this case, they're relaxing teas. Beautiful pictures, more pictures, particular product, click for shop now, more products, click shop now. Totally fine. You can do this all day long. But in this particular example, there's nothing personal about it. You know, this could be, it's just a generic email that kind of goes out to everybody, and there's nothing special about it. So what I like to do is use a conversational email. It's very simple. White background, black text. So this is an email just as you would send an email to your friends or family. And that's the connection that we want to build through our email marketing, right? We want to build that connection with people. And in this case, we wrote about a storyline based on something that recently happened in Manuel's life. So his birthday, at the time of recording this, his birthday was about a week or 2 back. And he got to go to a football game. So this past Monday was my birthday. I turned the big 4-2. And I was torn because I had to X out some stuff here simply because after I sent it out, Manuel came to me and he said, I might have to fire you because I don't have 2 favorite football teams. It's just the Cowboys. So the original line was, it was torn because my 2 favorite football teams, the Cowboys and the Bucs, were playing each other Monday night in Tampa. Okay, so we tried to cut that out. It's just the Cowboys. So remember that. If you're going to buy Manuel a gift or you want to get on his good side, just tell him that you love the Cowboys. That's a secret tip from me to you. You're welcome. All right, I wasn't that torn because when it comes to the Cowboys, everything else takes a back seat. But I was nervous about the game because the Cowboys hadn't won a playoff game in like 30 years. That's when the miracle happened. The Cowboys crushed it. They won 31-14. Best birthday ever. But while the Cowboys win was great, it wasn't nearly as heartfelt and touching as the special video that my team secretly put together for me. So in this instance, the goal here is to connect with people by sharing a personal story, tell them a little bit about what happened, and then transition into the next piece where you're going to ask them to do something. In this case, we dropped a hint in this particular line that the game was great, but it wasn't nearly as heartfelt and touching as the special video that my team secretly put together for me. And I cut the email off here as far as this picture, but now that's sort of, the goal is to open a loop or create a little bit of curiosity for the person to want to read the next line. And then it goes on to talk a little bit about the video, and it shows the video, and the object of this particular email was to get them to click and watch the video. But you can do this with any other products or services as well. You know, we could have just as easily said, you know, while the Cowboys game was great, it wasn't nearly as great as the new product or service that my clients or customers have been going wild over the last 60 days, for an example. And then you can introduce what that product or service was, and then you can give people an opportunity to click and go purchase or take part in the product or service. So another piece of technology that's within your email service provider is called merge tags. This is another thing that helps you speak to singular individuals even while you're emailing out to thousands of people potentially at a time. So these merge tags, as you can see in this particular example, now I said this comes from the Keep email service provider software, looks like this. It's special little code that's already inside the email service provider, so you don't have to create code yourself, you just need to know they exist. And in this case, this person's first name is, and then you put in the merge tag. This person's last name is, you put in the merge tag. Contact email, contact title. In this case, I added date and current as well. So this is what it would look like when you build your email, but when your email gets sent, it would look like this. So this is me, this is my information. Person's first name is Jesus. This person's last name is Rivezo. This person's email is jesus@agmagency.com. Person's work title is marketing director, and the date, January 24th, 2023. So I could use this same format, send the email to 100,000 people, and they would see their own names and emails and information in there, as opposed to somebody else's. Moving on from that, just want to touch briefly on what's called deliverability. So spam, in this case, spam causes and spam solutions. This video and this training is not for deliverability. So you're going to want to get the slides from this presentation, and it should be in the description below. And then these links should be live in that PDF for you. So this is all information from different sources that talk about deliverability, why your emails might be going to spam, and how you might get them out. So moving on from the deliverability aspect, I just wanted to show you this. This is a software that I do use, and this is a free software. They have a paid version. I don't even use the paid version myself here for attention grabbing media. It gives me enough information without having to use the paid one, for now at least. So what this is, it's called Email Smart. Called getemailsmart.com, I believe is where you'll find it. And it's so the logo says get seen, get sales, and get email smart. What this is doing is it gives you what they call a health checkup score of your email system. Okay, because the health or the deliverability and the hygiene, how clean, how good your list is, all plays in together to your emails getting into people's inboxes so that they can get your message. And it's similar to a credit score that you might get. So when I did a screenshot of this one recently, you could see we had a 100 out of 100 score. And that particular 100 out of 100 score is based off of these 4 factors, and it's all engagement factors in this case. So this is for new contacts. This one over here for contacts that have been on the list for more than 30 days, for contacts on the list for more than 90 days, for contacts of 365 days. And we scored perfect on each one of these, which helps to bring us to another version of their scoring. So we have a 903 out of 999 at this point. This shows you liabilities, worst liabilities, assets, and your best assets. That's talking about the contacts on your list. Okay, if they're a best asset, it means they're engaging with you all the time. They're opening, they're clicking, they're replying. If it says they're a worst asset, it means they're still in your list for some reason, but they have not engaged in a very, very long time. And I mentioned the word hygiene a minute ago. This is something for another training, but you want to keep your email list clean. And when I say keep your email list clean, there's a business or professional philosophical choice that you need to make as to how long you will leave somebody in your email list if they're not engaging with you. I believe right now we're cap it at about 60 days. So if nobody's opened or clicked or done some sort of engagement with us at 60 days, they get moved into a different bucket, and eventually they get pushed out of the system altogether. Now, we don't want to waste that contact information. So what I do is I download all those contacts and we give it to our media buyers who upload them into things like Facebook and Google custom audiences, and then they can run paid ads, hopefully to target those people and then bring them back into our ecosystem, and you can do the same thing. We're at the Gold League. I got Diamond and Email Smart Champions to go on this. This is really just kind of tooting our own horn, as they say. We're in the top 17.5% of all people who have taken this Email Smart score, and it's a sample size of about 1,350 people. We're in the top 19.5% of all Keep users, or about a sample size of 850 people. And this is a sample of all the different email service providers that this Email Smart software connects with. So if you use any of these and potentially more, you can connect and you can use this same software to keep a check on the health of your emails. Inboxly is also another tool that you can use to test and make sure that your email deliverability, your email health is going well. Now, let's talk about some decisions that you might make for your emails, right? So this is decisions for, are your emails doing what you want them to do? How do you make those choices? So first you will decide by the open rates, by the clicks, and if you have low open rates, two things you can check first is, number one, clean up your list. See if you have those liability contacts that you can get rid of. And next, you could test different subject lines on the same email to see if a different subject line will get you more opens. So if it's people are opening is fine, but you have low click rates, well, then inside you're going to want to test out different types of copy or different messages, right? You're going to want to write or maybe present differently. Maybe you try some of that standard e-commerce look with all the pretty pictures of the products, or maybe you try the more conversational type of text, one that I choose that you would be writing to, just like you would write to your friends or family. And then on the bottom here, we have a thing called AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. So attention is related mostly when it comes to emails to the subject line. Your subject line has to get their attention. And then if they're interested enough from that attention, they'll open the email. And then desire and action that you see here are related to what they're reading inside and whether or not they're clicking on the link or they're replying to your email. So whatever action that you ask somebody to take inside your email, that is going to determine, or it's going to allow you to determine the desire and action. You know this final one, really over here, right? Action, that's the most important one. We'll call it second. Attention is the first one, action number two. And the things in the middle, well, if they took the action, you know everything prior to that worked just fine. But that's something to consider. So have a plan for your emails. What do you want your email to do when you send it out? Okay? Do you just want to send information, or do you want to send information and then ask somebody to do something? It's up to you. We had a question that somebody had asked was, well, how do I balance, like, say, information with promotion? So there's different philosophies, again, similar, like we said before. There's business and professional philosophical choices that you'll have to make. Some people like to send, let's say, 4 emails of just information or value, and then on the 5th email, they may ask for an action. Other people will work to load every email with what they consider value, and then ask for an action in every email. Both ways are fine. You have to find what works for you based on what you want your emails to accomplish for you. Now, as I said, if you like to use Keep the way we do, here is a link that you can use. In fact, we'll actually, by the time you are watching this, should have an updated link on there or in the description of this video. And that is where we have it. Thank you very much for joining us. And if you enjoyed this presentation, go ahead and scan this code right here and tell us your thoughts. So, with that in mind, we've come to the end of this presentation, the end of this video for you right now. But this presentation was part of a live workshop that we had done recently. And what's coming up next should be a section of question and answers that we had with the live audiences. They asked some great questions. I'd like to say I gave great answers, but really it's up to them whether my answer was great for them. But I think you're going to enjoy the questions, and maybe some of the questions they have are questions that you're going to have yourself. And so hopefully you'll get some of your questions answered. And again, go to agmagency.com, go to the contact section. You can reach out to us or talk to ninja.com. Either way, reach out to us if you have questions about your email marketing. We'll be happy to hop on a free phone call and walk you through what your best next steps could be to accomplish what you want with your email marketing. Thank you very much.
And with that, now, if we have some questions, let's talk about them, and we'll see what we can answer for you guys.
That email grading service, that Email Simpler or whatever it was called.
The Email Smart.
Email Smart, is that free, or what's the price on it?
There's a free version of it, and there's a paid version of it. I just use the free version, and it gives me all this information. It's a great system. Just email. I think it's emailsmart.com or Get Email Smart. If you search one of these, you'll find you'll be able to use it from there.
Okay, so I got all the health and everything. I definitely learned some tips. But let's say that you've gone the other direction because you didn't have this knowledge, and like my email is probably unhealthy, right?
Okay.
Actually, I've struggled between two, like where I'm sending it from. I got shut down by my one of my emails, so I had to go to my. Anyway, it's complicated. But what do you do with that? Like what about the email you're sending it from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who you're sending it from?
Yeah, like a lot of my emails right now are going to people's spam.
Okay.
Because I didn't know
Right.
all kinds of stuff when I started.
Sure.
I wasn't trained at all, so I had no idea, right? So so now even our clients, the emails go to spam. It's kind of embarrassing, you know?
Yeah.
So so what do we do?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to burn
domain.
things down and start over.
Right.
But there's a potential that you may be able to save what you have. This is just me speaking off the top of my head based on what we're talking about at the moment without looking at anything. And that is you take, first of all, you clean the list the best you can. You go and you find out who's the most engaged with you right now, and you start sending regular emails to them.
Okay.
And what you want to do ideally is you need to get engagement from them. So this is especially good if you can narrow down to the most engaged people that you do have. And a great way to start to heal or if you're starting from scratch, to create a good connection or to start to heal the connection is to ask people for replies. So between asking for replies or getting people to actually click on something, that lets the email client, the Gmail, the Apple Mail, the MSN, Yahoos, it lets that system know that you are a person or you are a company that people want to hear from. So deliverability has those two sides. It has the health of your own domain, right? Like abc.com or whatever. That's the domain, and the health of that can affect the deliverability. The health, it gets really crazy, and it'll look at the the IP addresses, right? So real nerdy stuff. If that's damaged, it'll look for that too. So you want good IP health, good domain health, and then you want to get those replies coming back. So depending on where it's at, you may be able to save it. It may be better to start over. Yeah. Just depends. I hope that helps a little bit.
I think so. I probably have more questions after.
No problem.
Again, a question. You clean up the emails if people don't answer like 60 days or 90 days. So
Yes.
is the system cleaning it up? How cleans it up?
Yeah, I actually have a whole campaign, automated campaign set up in our system that tracks people and their engagement. And so if they're not engaged within that 60 days, they automatically get taken from one segmentation or one bucket and stuck into another one. And the first thing that we try to do is we send them through what we would call like a reactivation campaign. We try to get them somehow re-engaged right there. And I'll give them another week to 2 weeks to try to get some sort of action. And if that doesn't work, they get put into the final third bucket, which is like, okay, it's time to go. It's a system, it's a type of system that you should be able to construct in all of these email service providers. Yeah. So like I said at the beginning, the goal was email marketing made simple or made easy. And then I was like, wow, this is kind of hard stuff sometimes. So I hope I even got close to showing you guys that it's not as hard as it could be. It's because the important part is the 5 different campaigns to send, right? And then getting in communication on a regular basis with your people. So I would say if you take anything away from tonight besides the health of your email system, use those 5 campaigns, right? So it's the product or service delivery, whatever they asked for, deliver it to them immediately. 2 is the welcome and indoctrination sequence. 3 is going to be your regular daily communications. Or actually 3 would be the abandoned cart sequence. So if they go to start buying something and for whatever reason they don't get to finish the checkout process, you want to be able to follow up with them and say, hey, remember me? Or, hey, it happens to me too. The power goes out, or the kids run in, or the cat jumps on my laptop and disconnected me, or the internet dropped. So no problem. Click this link and it'll take you right back to your checkout process so you can finish buying something. Then you would go to your regular daily nurture sequences or weekly. I wouldn't do any less than 1 time a week, ideally. We do have a segment in our email system where I give people an option, daily, weekly, or once a month. Because some people, they just don't like it. My wife is a person who hates getting too many emails, and she gets offended by it. And I'm like, honey, that's what I do. You're killing all the other people like me. She's like, I don't care. I don't want emails every day from whatever, ABC Kitchen. All right, no problem. So there is an option to do that. But ideally, send your list an email at least once a week. I like 2 to 3 times. If you're not going to send daily, 2 to 3 times a week, I think is great. It gives you a good opportunity to keep in contact with people and stay top of mind. What we didn't get to talk about actually was specialty campaigns. That would be the 5th one. Specialty campaigns can be anything you want them to be. Say again? Yes, Valentine's Day, she said. Valentine's Day is a great one. Any holiday is like the low-hanging fruit. You should have a campaign ready to go for basically any major holiday. On top of that, you can, depending on what your business is, some people will do like, I have a 21-day challenge to do X, Y, and Z. Just click here, and it's a free thing, and we're going to send you information every day for the next 21 days to lead you from starting point to goal, right? Or maybe it's like, hey, it's your birthday coming up, so here's an email about something. Or I kind of like, hey, it's my birthday, and I'm going to give you something, right? That's one that a lot of people don't think about. So any special event, birthdays, anniversaries, your own birthday, your own anniversary. One of my favorites, International UFO Day. Send them an email about International UFO Day and then wrap it into somehow buying something from you. So you said in the front row here, it said you had desserts. I don't know if you make pies, but how easy can we roll in a fantastical story about UFOs into selling a pie? Because if nothing else, just because of the shape.
It's flying saucer shape.
There you go, flying saucer shaped, he says. It's perfect. How do I suggest creating the emails? So you know all those other workshops that we talk about and we give ideas about how to do things? Yeah. So he says ChatGPT. Listen, ChatGPT is an amazing tool. There are a lot of people who are afraid of it. We're actually embracing it ourselves. I don't know, we sent an email earlier this week, and Manuel did a nice little training for us recently that talked about, like, listen, here's how we can leverage this tool to deliver even better service to the people that we have, who trust us, right? And if nothing else, ChatGPT is great to get you ideas so that you can start creating more content, Oh, ChatGPT. It's an artificial intelligence system to write. Yep. ChatGPT. Yep. You can't get into it. It's very difficult. It's so popular. The servers will go down, and it does get hard to get into it. But when you can, it can do amazing stuff. If you guys haven't seen the training, the video that we posted for Manuel recently, be sure later on tonight, go to Manuel's YouTube channel. It's within this past week, and I believe the thumbnail says something like "ChatGPT, will it destroy us or help us?" or something like that. Yeah, well, that's why I said go to Manuel Suarez's YouTube channel first, go to his videos and see which ones are there. Yeah. So I tell you what, here's another way, here's another idea. You said, like, how do you create the content to go into all these emails? What's happening in your daily life? It seems silly, but, you know, did you hit traffic this morning? Did you hit no traffic this morning? Did you wake up late? Did you wake up early? Did you stub your toe on the bed on the way to the bathroom in the middle of the night? Anything like this can become a writing prompt to lead you into something.
Can I just say on that?
Sure, Steve, go ahead.
Today I did one like that. I went to the vet. I went to the vet today. It was way more expensive than I thought it was going to be.
Sure.
So I just came home. I wrote the email to my list. I said, I went to the vet today. I spent like way more money than I wanted to. And I just led it into an offer, and it was just my best performing email so far. Yeah, so whatever's going on in your life is great.
Yeah.
Great.
See, just as people, there's a question or comment in the back, Rob, if you can get to that gentleman real quick. Sometimes, let me say it this way. Anybody ever read an autobiography, read a biography, watched a movie or a documentary about people, real people? This is because most of us as human beings have some sort of interest in other human beings. And it seems like it might be silly, but, you know, honestly, that's one of those things that helps you build that relationship and build that connection through your writing, through your emails, and even really through your videos. Sir, I'll get to you in 1 second.
This is about the automaticities again.
Yep.
Because I find it fascinating. Can they be hooked up so that you see, or can see, if need be, okay, what email got that person to buy, so that you have a regular customer, and he is a regular customer, he's engaged, and all of a sudden he drops off.
Mm-hmm.
So what caused that drop off? So you go back and you can see the emails that did not connect with him at all. And so you know what subjects, this guy doesn't belong on the list that's going to get these types of emails.
Correct.
We need to do something else like the
Yep.
earlier ones. Can those automaticities track those kind of metrics?
You can create the automations so that you see when people either take the action or don't take the action, really, based on tagging systems some of the automated tagging systems. You'll know, you can potentially know how far somebody goes through something, what actions they do or don't take, right? And then you can immediately feed them down new pathways. So if you take your list of regular people and you stick them, let's say, into a specialty campaign that you think is going to kill it, and you see a lot of your best people are just either they go all the way through it with no action or unsubscribe or something, then you'll be able to go in and look, ideally, depending on the system. Ours, you can do it pretty well. You can look at the metrics of each email, like inside Keep. You can look at the metrics of each email that was sent. You can choose a time frame of when it was sent. You can see how many people it went to, how many people opened it, how many people clicked on it. You can see how many people unsubscribed from that particular email. So you can do a lot of things with it. We've got a question with this gentleman here and then this young lady over here.
Mike coming down.
Oh, okay. What about email headings? You kind of touched on this, but I have a real estate brokerage.
Okay.
And we're sending out, a condo for sale, downtown Clearwater, close to the beach. But you've got about 3 or 4 lines of regular script to attract their attention.
Right.
And is there any guidelines on that particularly? I mean,
so are you talking inside the actual body of the email or in the subject line?
No, the body of the email can be great.
Yeah.
It's just that little line,
The
especially if
subject
they're looking
line.
at it on a phone.
Right.
They're going to see about 4 or 5 letters
Yeah.
to get them to open.
There's several tools. Let me see if I can pull something up on the fly here. Maybe. So those would be the subject line. The subject line is mostly what you're talking about there. And I actually have a tool. See if I can find that. Email subject
My
line.
assistant will write something and send it off. I said, why did you say that? Means nothing.
Yeah. So there's plenty of different tools. This is one that I actually will use here sometimes.
Oh,
So omnisend.com, subject line tester. I can include this later on in some of the material. But this is an interesting one. If nothing else, it gives you an idea of how it thinks that something might work. So your example was a condo in St. Pete or something? What?
Downtown Clearwater,
Okay. So
2-bedroom, 2-bath.
a beautiful 2-bed condo. Yours? So this is something that maybe you could test. In fact, let me back up here. Let me give it a capital. And so you could put a potential subject line in here. You can hit test. And this one says, so beautiful 2-bed condo, yours? So according to this system, according to its metrics, 92% out of 100 score. Woo! That's pretty damn good for on-the-spot trying. And I'll show you some of how it decides on this particular system. It looks at the character length of the subject line. It looks at how many words that you have. In this particular system, it wants you to have less than 40 characters, ideally, and less than 6 words, ideally. It's not a hard and fast rule, but this is something that can get you on the way. It also takes a look at wording that's in the subject line itself. This one's showing me that according to their list of what they call helpful words, I didn't have any. So if I include what they consider a helpful word, it might go up, the score may go up. But I also don't have any what they consider negative words, so they like that.
Is free a negative word?
No, actually, I think free is in their list here. So you can click this list, and it will show you some of their helpful words. Right? Freebies there. I'm trying to move kind of back and forth so I'm not in the way of everybody. So I didn't see free necessarily, but free. That's interesting. Upgrade. Oh, maybe upgrade. Upgrade to a beautiful 2-bed condo. You know, that could be something. You know, so it gives you some ideas there as to words that it thinks that you should use. We'll come down a little bit further. On this case, what they're calling scannability. They like, so use of numbers, it was great because we were able to use the 2 for the 2-bedroom. And I put it in a standard sentence capitalization style, right? A capital letter at the very beginning and no other capital letters. This particular system enjoys that, right? And a nice, based on what you were saying about how do things look because of you have very limited room, this will show you how it can look, your subject line, on a desktop and on a mobile phone. And one of the reasons that it's looking for 40 characters or less, ideally, or less than 5 words, is mostly mobile phone, right? Desktop, you can have a much longer subject line if you want, but in the mobile phone, beautiful 2-bed condo, yours, stands out nicely. It's easy to see. What this system doesn't take into consideration is whether or not you want to use like emojis and like hearts and eyeballs and smiley faces and things like that. But sometimes that can help. And then down here at the bottom of this particular one, it even shows you samples of email subject lines that it considered good and that you may want to try testing yourself. So it's a fun tool. Okay? This is a free site. This is omnisend.com. Yep. Don't know.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's
So
go ahead.
one more question.
Yes.
When I send out my emails, there's always one person or one company who is clicking every time.
Okay.
But never buying.
Okay.
What do you do?
So somebody always clicks, but they never buy.
Yes.
So they're interested enough to get to the point of clicking So at that point, the question I would have if I were to look at this with you to try to diagnose an issue is I would want to see what are you saying in the email that's grabbing their attention and keeping it enough to make them desire to make that click. Yeah. But what are they seeing on the website or the landing page that's erasing it? So it could be nothing in your control. It may just be them, or there could be an incongruency with what they believe they're seeing in the email to what they're seeing on the next page. Happens all the time, he says, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, the videos that you were showing before, the training videos that we tapped, where can we see these videos? Are they at Ring Central?
Oh, is that video on Ring Central?
Uh-huh.
No.
Where can I find those training videos?
It's $99.95, and I can send you that email, that picture, the video.
Thank you.
No, I can send that video out to everybody who's on this particular list if you guys are interested in seeing that whole video.
Great.
He is. Yeah, the training video that we weren't able to watch for whatever technological reasons. Yeah, I can go ahead and include that with the slides and one of the upcoming emails.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. And you had another question?
Yeah. So on the email, should you always have in your email a link they can click on?
You don't have to. That's a choice.
Because my understanding was like you have different types of emails that you want to send out, and some can be like a lot can be like PR, like
Sure.
just like here's what's happening, not selling. You want
Right.
I got a datum from somebody that most of your emails, I forget what percentage, should just be like talking and not selling, and then I feel like it was like 25 or 10% should be selling. What's the true datum on that? Do you know?
Again, that can actually be a philosophical choice of the business. One of when I was earlier in my career studying this on my own before I ever came to AGM, one of the datum about that was 4 nurturing emails or 4 informational, educational emails, 1 sales email.
Yeah, that's what I got basically.
So that's one way you can do it. Other people will give the opportunity to buy something in every single email. So it just depends. So if you can deliver something that the reader considers valuable and informative or entertaining or educational, and give them an opportunity to buy something if they want in every single email without making them mad, then that's great.
I see what you're saying. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I thought you raised your hand.
Where? Over here?
Yeah. It's a little off subject of what we're kind of talking about.
Well,
but
then why are we talking about it, baby? Microphone to the mouth, my friend.
It is to do
There
with
we go.
integration and getting people into your site and coming up with a plan of action to keep them there and make them aware of like every product in detail without you being there.
Right.
Like its own babysitter. But have you ever heard of a software called Conversion Bot?
No, but there's a lot of softwares I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I was just wondering because I notice dealerships and stuff, they use it like where the little typing lady comes on and says, "Hey, welcome. What kind of car are you looking for?" And then like literally sets appointments, does everything, and it's all robot.
So it's a chat bot.
Yeah, like a chat bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. There's plenty of softwares that'll do that. Our favorite of that is the ManyChat software in particular, and you can attach their chat widget, it's called, to your website. There's plenty of others that do it as well. And then you can go in. So that now takes the creativity of you or a different copywriter to figure out what are the most common things people are going to ask.
Okay.
And then so I can input the answers or give keyword triggers.
Okay.
You know, like, hey, how's it going today? Do you want to know about this, this, or this? And somebody clicks on, great, this is how we do that particular thing. Here's the information about it. Do you want to know more about, do you want to know more now? Okay. Great. Yes, I do. Okay, great. The next best thing for you to do is go over to our website and watch this 8-minute video on product X.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Does that help? So we've got about 5 minutes or so left. Yes, sir.
So we've got email, and of course we've got
video, which is YouTube principally. What are your thoughts on, or advice on putting the link in for a YouTube video where you're doing more than just, talking about something and trying to get someone to buy it?
Putting a link to your YouTube in the emails?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do it almost every day here.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then I haven't done it for a while, but can we still put on Gmail? Can we still put an actual video in the?
You can put GIFs.
Yeah, in the what do they call it? The text area.
Yeah, you can put GIFs in the short little videos that repeat, but you can't put a full video in there right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, but you can attach. In fact, I had a GIF earlier this week. If any of you guys saw the email, it said subject line was "Come with me if you want to live." And of course, you open the email and it right. So the trick is, or the idea is to be able to grab the attention with the subject line, get them to open it, create some sort of a bond with some information. So that opening, so come with me if you want to live. Boom, you open the email. It says, that was one of the most iconic lines from the 1991 blockbuster movie Terminator 2 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Something like that. It was a little bit different than that. And then it had the GIF, the little animated piece of the Terminator saying, come with me if you want to live. And then I fed into the rest of the story into the call to action, which in that case, I think, again, was just to watch a specific video.
ChatGPT.
I think, there you go. So that's why I tied the two together. So I resent the video about the ChatGPT, the automated, the artificial intelligence writing system, using the Terminator 2 concept to bridge the gap between the two of them, right? Which is a great way because originally, right, in the Terminator 2, in fact, that's the story I told after the GIF was about, the people in that movie at that time, they created the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence then became self-aware and decided it needed to take over the world, and in doing so wanted to eradicate the human race. And that's what so many people are afraid is going to happen with ChatGPT, but not us, because we know how to harness the power of it and leverage it to do great things for us to be even more efficient for you who trust us so much. And here's a video about how we do it. That's basically how the email went.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jesus.
You're welcome.